Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's dustinkreis, and today we are finally going to do a pickups video for, I don't know, the last couple months. I'll have to look and see what the last one covered. Yeah, I don't do these pickup videos very often anymore because I really have I just don't pick up a lot of stuff month to month. All of this stuff is over about a 2.5 month period. It's crazy to think that this, if not more, used to be my monthly hauls. And so it feels good to kind of not pick up as much stuff, but at the same time, I feel like these videos are getting a little pointless because you guys are here for video game stuff, and a lot of the stuff I pick up nowadays is not video game stuff because I've really gotten out of the collecting aspect. I pick up new releases when they come out, and going forward here, there's going to be a lot of new releases to pick up, but yeah, I just picked up a few things game-wise. A couple things were just, for fun. Another thing was kind of a necessity, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm having a Monk's Cafe sour ale, and sours are something that I'm getting more into. They're really good, but when you buy one of those big, like, 750 milliliter bottles of it, it's a bit much to get through one of those bottles. So I'm working my way through the last little bit of that sour ale. But anyway, let's not waste time. Let's go ahead and get into it and talk about what I picked up. On the video game front, not a whole bunch of stuff. A couple digital things, one physical thing, and then a quote-unquote new system. Oh, new system. Anyway, digital stuff, I picked up Jamestown Plus on PS4. It's a great bullet hell shooter. If you guys have not played Jamestown on Steam or anything else, definitely get the PS4 version. I don't know if it's on Xbox One as well. I'm not an Xbox One owner, so I can't speak to that. But I do know it's on Steam. But I prefer the PS4 because I prefer the PS4 controller. Having a lot of fun with that. A lot of great replay value, reasons to keep playing the game. Because I feel like with shmups, you kind of throw them in just to kill some time every now and then. But there's a lot of unlockables and different things you can do in the game. So really great on that front. Picked up, Square Enix had a PSN sale. And I'm blanking on the name of the game. Shit, I have it sitting right up there as a disc-only version. What the fuck is that game called? Damn it. Blanking. I want to say Vandal Hearts, and that's not right. Vagrant Story. God. Woo! Just completely disappeared. Mostly because Alex wanted me to do a video on it. He said something about that like a couple months ago. So it was on there, and I do want to go back and give Vagrant Story another shot. It's one of those weird JRPGs that has like kind of a crazy battle system to it. But I figured it was only like $3 on PSN, and it'll be a lot easier to play it on my Vita than it would be to play it out there on the big TV. So I picked that up, and then on my phone, I picked up Magic the Gathering Duels and started playing that, and was having fun playing Magic. But Magic's one of those games that I don't feel like it translates very well to online, doesn't translate well to like the electronic world, because with the sort of the meta game you have to play and the timing of things, it's really hard to do that on. It's really hard to like interrupt and stack instance and things like that on the digital game, at least for me. So I was having fun with it, but at the same time I was kind of getting annoyed with it. And Steven was giving me crap because I downloaded a collectible card game that wasn't Hearthstone. So I then downloaded Hearthstone, and I've been putting a lot of time into Hearthstone. When I'm just out and about and I have like some free time, I can do an adventure and get some cards or something like that. Getting kind of addicted to it, and I've already pumped some money into it, just for the adventures. But I'm going to try to limit how much money I pump into that. But it is a really fun game, and a lot easier to play on the go than Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is just too... It's made for the card game. It's not really made for the digital world, whereas Hearthstone is made for the digital world. So, actually really enjoying Hearthstone. And then, of course, I couldn't pass this up because I love this series, and I do love most of the stuff that this developer puts out. So I picked up Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold, the Fafnir Knight, and I had to hold it there to see the name because sometimes these names that they put on these RPGs are just so difficult to say, so you kind of have to look at it. But I'm actually really looking forward to playing this because I loved Etrian Odyssey Untold 1. Even though the story is minimal and in terms of RPGs, like nowhere near where we're at now with storylines. Just a simple fact of having a storyline in an Etrian Odyssey game. Because I played Etrian Odyssey 4 on the 3DS, and really, there is kind of a story there, but not as much as the Untold games. So I was really looking forward to this. This is a remake of Etrian Odyssey 2 on the DS, which I also have, but never got around to playing. So it does have the classic version in it if you want to play the old school, no stories, bare bones type of game. Or if you want the new and improved, I put that in quotation marks because some people don't like the story mode in these games, but I do. So I had to pick this up because I love picking up these Atlas Day 1 editions with the little box and CD soundtrack. Like, this is as far as I want to go nowadays with collector's edition box sets, even though I did pre-order a collector's edition box set, but it's a very special one that I did not think would ever be made. And so I had to get it because I actually really do love the game, and I do want to replay it here eventually. But anyway, that we'll get to that when it comes in the mail. But I did pick up Etrian Odyssey Untold 2, so I'm looking forward to that. Now, talking about the 3DS, for you guys who are not subscribed to the AGP Facebook page, you kind of already know what I'm going to show you here. And I was waiting for this to come in to do this video. My 3DS took a tumble. And I am extremely lucky that only the top screen shattered. The bottom screen was completely fine. So that gave me an excuse to go out and get a new 3DS XL. I just got the standard black one. I like my systems to be kind of plain. I don't go in for like the Zelda editions or those types of things. I don't really like them. I like them to look just simple and clean, like the Kingdom Hearts song, simple and clean. But anyway, I'm really happy to have this because now I can look into getting Xenoblade for it and have Xenoblade on the go, even though Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out for the Wii U in a little bit, and I probably will have zero time to play anything other than that. But really, really nice, and I didn't even care about the missing AC adapter because I have like 5 AC adapters for the 3DS. Not 5, I have 2. But it uses the same adapter as my DS XL, so I have a ton of them around. So just use the old one from the busted one. Works. But the transfer process, unlike when I transferred it to my 3DS XL, may she rest in peace, the transfer process this time went completely without a hitch, and everything is on there. And aside from the fact that I had to buy a new system that I kind of wanted anyway, but didn't really have a reason to buy it because my 3DS worked perfectly fine, and Xenoblade, if I want to play Xenoblade, I can just play it on the Wii. But, sometimes fate steps in and creates a reason. So I got that. While I was talking about that, there was something that popped in my head that I wanted to mention, but I can't think of it now. Something game-related. Gosh, this video, maybe it's just I'm out of practice with this and doing this, but like, everything's just fucking gone, man, just fucking gone. Maybe it's the sour ale. Maybe it's souring my brain. Anyway, there has been a big push on the YouTubes here lately about the Studio Ghibli movies, mainly because The Wind Rises came out, and I don't know, it just seems like everyone's talking about the Ghibli movies. And for those of you who don't know, I am a stepfather now. Not like officially, but I am the father figure in a child's life. I don't mean officially because we haven't got married. I mean, videos are hard. Not officially because we haven't got married yet, but, you know, I am the father figure in this child's life. So I've been looking for things for her and I to do together because my girlfriend works 12-hour shifts and I only work 8-hour shifts. So I am the one that's sort of watching her in the afternoons and evenings. And I thought, you know, what would be some good things to do? And everyone was talking about the Studio Ghibli movies, and I've seen a bunch of them. I just never got around to buying them. And I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and get a bunch, and I can introduce her to these, and she doesn't watch these, like, awful... Kid shows today are awful. Like, I want her to watch The Adventures of Pete and Pete, but I think she might be... She's 6 years old, and I think she might be just a little too young. And I hate to say this about her, but I think, like, TV shows nowadays have dumbed kids down, and I think Adventures of Pete and Pete will just go right over her head. So I'm giving her a little more, couple more years to kind of season up a little bit before I do Adventures of Pete and Pete. But the stuff she watches on Netflix, honestly, I make the joke all the time. It's no wonder these kids are shooting up their schools because this stuff is garbage that kids are watching today. So I thought I'd rectify that by buying a bunch of the Studio Ghibli movies. And the ones I picked up, I think I have most of my favorites here. I'm trying to think if there's one that I'm really... Oh, I'm missing Castle in the Sky, and I really love Castle in the Sky, but I'll pick it up eventually. But anyway, I picked up Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, and I think this is actually my favorite Ghibli movie. There's just... there's something about it. This thing is like... Some of the other ones I can find faults in, but Nausicaa is just, from start to finish, the concept, everything, the characters, it's just perfect for me. And actually, she really likes this one, too. I think that, you know, this wasn't the... Studio Ghibli wasn't... excuse me, that beer is really making me burp. Studio Ghibli wasn't around yet when this movie was made. It was made for a different company. But immediately after this movie, they formed Studio Ghibli. So, you know, this plus the Lupin movie are really like the genesis of Ghibli. And I don't know. For me, Miyazaki just knocked it out of the park on the first try. His first original written by, you know, movie. Just fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. I love it. And it's so great to see, like, a female princess. And this is what I love about watching it with my stepdaughter. A female princess who does not need saved, but does the saving. I think that's a great message for little girls to watch. And, I mean, you see that a lot in the Ghibli movies. They're very sort of female-driven in a lot of ways. This one is also a great one. My neighbor... God, slow down. My Neighbor Totoro. I'm trying not to make this a half-hour video because there is a lot of stuff here, and I will wax poetic about one thing. I know I will. My Neighbor Totoro, or Totoro, however you want to say it. She loved this one, and but once she watched Nausicaa, God damn, this one kind of fell by the wayside. It's very whimsical and very fun for little kids. But I think she does need a plot, and Totoro is a bit plotless, but it's heavy on, like, the imagination, so you kind of get, it kind of goes both ways there a little bit. This one is absolutely awful, but in an amazing way, and that's Grave of the Fireflies. She will never watch this until she's, like, in her teens, and even then, I might not let her watch it. This is... without a doubt, one of the hardest movies I have ever watched. And I've watched a lot of bad movies. A lot of very gut-wrenching movies. This thing, I don't want to ruin it, but at the same time, like, it tells you right up front what it's doing. It shows you right at the beginning of the movie what it's doing. And the entire time you watch it, you're like in this disbelief that it's going to happen. And then it happens, and you're like, no. And, you know, I didn't like cry because I think like everyone kind of overhyped it for me, but I did get that burning sensation in my throat where your throat starts to close up and you're like, you know, you're going to cry. And man, Grave of the Fireflies, it's definitely one of the best anti-war movies I have ever seen. And I love World War II movies, but, you know, they're always, I feel like war movies for the most part, except maybe for like the Thin Red Line and Apocalypse Now and things like that, it's kind of a like glorification in a way. Like I feel like Saving Private Ryan, even though I love Saving Private Ryan, is a bit of rah rah. Look at the good we've done. You know, even though it's very heart wrenching and stuff. You know, you do feel a sense of pride watching Saving Private Ryan. But really, when you look at war is completely just an awful fucking thing. And this is the movie that does it for you. I mean, it's just, whew, man. You wouldn't think an animated movie would be that rough, but it really, really is. Princess Mononoke, not really, you know, it's one of those movies you don't really have to say anything about. It's amazing. Flat out amazing. I did watch this with Lily, and I forgot how violent it was. So, you know, the guy's out there shooting his bow and arrow and like lobbing people's heads off, and she's having a ball. She's just laughing hysterically at it. So, yeah, it kind of goes to show you like how desensitized. I mean, she doesn't watch a lot of violent stuff, but I guess when it's a cartoon, it just doesn't register as violent. Like if I made her watch RoboCop, she'd probably be scarred for life, even though I watched RoboCop at that age. But she had a ball watching Mononoke, and she really liked the antelope type animal that the main character Ashitaka. She really liked that animal that he rides around on, so she had a ball with that one. Her absolute favorite up until Nausicaa, which sometimes it goes back and forth. This could be her favorite. It just depends on the day. Spirited Away. I don't need to say anything about Spirited Away. If you watch Spirited Away, you know that this is one of the most beautiful, most lyrical, and just flat out imaginative movies ever made. I watched this movie, and some parts of it I do kind of zone out on, but man, when she gets on the train with No Face and rides that train, I am just zoned in on this movie. That scene of them on the train is magic, and it's so crazy because like hardly anything gets said, but it's just the visuals, the music, the sort of somber feeling. It just really it does it for me. And they have a little screen cap there on the back of it, but I absolutely love Spirited Away. It was the first one I picked up when it came out, and I made her watch it, and she just we watched it like 5 times in the first week I had it. So the other one that she really likes, and it kind of gets a little crap every now and then, I can see why, because it's a bit hyper, whereas the other movies are a bit laid back. This one feels a bit hyper, but Howl's Moving Castle, absolutely gorgeous. She loves the part where Sophie gets turned into a grandma. She just sits there and laughs and goes, "Oh, grandma." But she loves this one. I think this one works better for kids than it does adults, because it is so hyper and it's so imaginative that I don't know, like she really likes this one as well. I like it too, but at the same time, like, you know, the what's his name? What's that little kid's name that runs around with Howl? I can't remember, but he reminds me of the main character in Ni no Kuni a lot, and I just like, I don't know I can't remember which one came out, like which work started first, whether it was Howl's. It was probably Howl's Moving Castle probably came out. I don't know when it came out over here in the States, or how long it took them to make Ni no Kuni, but the character models just, I mean, it just reminds me so much of each other that it almost kind of feels like a ripoff, but I don't know which way it goes, you know, but it's like, really? They couldn't have made the character Ni no Kuni look a little bit different than that guy, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And then the last one I picked up is one that I was really excited about, and that is The Wind Rises. This is a beautiful, beautiful movie. Not really for kids, not because it's particularly disturbing or anything, just because it has that whimsy in it when he has his dreams about the Italian aviator guy. But for the most part, it's more of an adult movie because it tells more of an adult story. There's not a lot of magic in it. It's a very sort of straight movie. A lot of things about trying to develop the perfect plane and things like that. So while kids would probably get a kick out of the visuals, I think they would maybe zone out a little bit on the storyline. So it's up to you whether or not you want your kids to watch The Wind Rises. There's nothing really bad in it. It's like PG-13 for some disturbing images and smoking. The worst thing they're going to see in this movie is someone smoking, and the earthquake scene, which is actually really visually awesome, but at the same time it's kind of disturbing, I guess, for little kids. But really a beautiful film. And that's all the Ghiblis I have right now. I do plan on picking up more because she really likes them. I want to get some of the... I only have one that's not by Miyazaki, and I want to get some of the more non-Miyazaki ones to sort of branch out a little bit, but we'll get them eventually. Alright, let's see if I can get through the rest of this video without being a stuttering idiot. Jesus. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because it's still sealed, but picked this up for my girlfriend because she loved this cartoon back in the day. That's Pokemon Indigo League, Volume 1 of Season 1. Bought this for her in the store. See, the tag's still on it, but I ripped the price off so she wouldn't know how much it was. Bought this for her, and then we realized it's on Netflix. So it's still sealed. She wants to keep it just in case it ever goes off of Netflix. But yeah, picked that up for her. And we've been watching it, and it's fun. But, it's Pokemon. It's not like we're watching Well, we are watching Death Note, but it's not like, Steins Gate or something like that. It's not that intricate. Picked this one up because this is a childhood memory of mine, and I remember renting this at the video store, and when I saw that it was coming out on Blu-ray from Scream Factory, I knew I had to get it, and it holds up surprisingly well. I mean, it's goofy, and it's kind of dumb, but at the same time, I'm still really impressed with the stop-motion robots, and that's Robot Jocks. I remember renting this, like, I saw that horrible, which this is a lot better than the box art for the original, like, VHS, but, surprisingly adult, and it's only rated PG, but there's, like, actual nudity in this, and, back in this came out in 1990, but back in the day, you could get away with all that kind of stuff, like shits and all that kind of stuff in PG movies. It was a great time for film. But, yeah, there's a lot of cursing and some nudity. And, yeah, a surprisingly adult story. Like, I didn't think about it when I was a kid. I just remember it being kind of this goofy robot movie. Then I watched it as an adult, and I'm like, okay, that was a bit advanced for little kids back then. But still had a fantastic time reliving that memory. And it doesn't look that bad for nowadays. You gotta remember, it's a very low-budget 1990 movie. Picked this up, but I haven't watched it yet. But I remember watching it back in the day and just being amazed by the visuals in it, and that is The Cell. And I want to kind of look into this director's more of his stuff. He did another movie after The Cell that's supposed to be really visually amazing as well. But I remember really enjoying this film. My only caveat with it is it has Jennifer Lopez in it, which I don't really enjoy Jennifer Lopez. But for the rest of the movie, I'll put up with Jennifer Lopez. Pick this up because I do love Martin Scorsese films, and this is one of the ones that, I don't know, maybe doesn't hold up as well because you kind of get to the twist before the twist happens, but I did pick up Shutter Island for pretty cheap. I do want to go back and watch it again, just to kind of... I do like the story, and I like the setting and all that kind of stuff, and it has kind of a Silent Hill vibe to it, so I do enjoy that, and I do love Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese working together, so... And here is where we wax poetic. A couple days ago, this came out. And I've watched this movie 3 times now. And I still can't believe my eyes when I watch this movie. Mad Max Fury Road. This has made every other, like, movie just look stupid in comparison. And I'm talking about, like, these big... like Marvel spectacle movies that are full of CG, like ragdoll characters and ragdoll physics. And like, I just don't know how, after watching Fury Road, you could go back and watch that and be, like, amazed. Like, to watch these cars slam into each other and the physics be right because they actually rammed these cars together going, like, 90 miles an hour. You know, the practicality of the effects. I watched, like, the documentaries on how they did it. And then you watch the movie again and you're still, like, it loses none of the magic, you know. The only CG stuff they did was, like, compositing, like, the really big explosions together and, like, touching up the backgrounds and things and removing Charlize Theron's arm, you know, for the character. And, you know, when you realize that there's really no CG touch-ups to the action itself, that's astounding. And just the way the camera whips around. And then you watch the documentary on how they filmed it, and it's not like a digital pan through like a digital world. It was actually a camera on a crane going through all these cars running around. Like, it's just sheer cinematic poetry in a lot of ways. And people kind of harp on it a little bit because they say the storyline's thin. This is like a masterclass in world building. Like, just astounding, because unlike other movies that sit there and like expound on every individual thing, like, this movie just shows it to you and your brain fills in the blanks. The world explains itself without having to sit through like 20 minutes of dialogue explaining like what a war boy is and their half-life and things like that. You don't need it. And whatever story you want to put in there works, you know. It should be a big lesson in Hollywood blockbusters going forward. Because I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the new one. I watched it on Amazon Prime for free. And let me tell you, that thing is garbage. Absolute garbage. And it gets the turtles right, but everything else is wrong. And, like, they destroy half of New York. I hate these movies where, like, they destroy half of New York. This movie is a chase for one half of the movie, and then it's a race the other half of the movie. And, you know, they go one way, they turn around, and they come back. And it's amazing. Flat out amazing. I don't know what George Miller is going to do after this. There was talks of him doing the next Superman movie. Honestly, I hope not, because fuck Superman. And I don't know if his scripts for the other Mad Maxes can follow this. Like, this is like, the bar is set so high now that, like, I don't know how Mad Max can continue, because Fury Road is just so friggin' good. I mean, there's moments, it's an action movie where barely anyone talks, but there are moments where I get, like, a little, like, choked up at certain characters that you've only known for a few minutes die. And you're like, for some reason, you feel like it's a huge loss to this world that's lost so much already. I don't know. It's flat out amazing. A perfect film in my regard, and it's my favorite movie of the year. So, I'm going to stop talking about Fury Road. We'll talk about another movie that I love that people can, you know, give or take. Southland Tales. I picked up the graphic novels prequels for Southland Tales. I had a PDF file on my computer for these, and then when I got the Blu-ray, the Blu-ray has these on there as well that you can watch on your TV. But I wanted the actual physical copies for my collection because I absolutely love Southland Tales. And I watched it the other day because I've been reading through the graphic novels again. I watched it the other day, and for me, the film makes perfect sense. So I don't know what people get so crazy about, but I like Richard Kelly. I wish he'd make more movies, but I understand why he's not, because Southland Tales did not do well. Then I picked this up because I saw it in Mike's Aerodynamish, his Studio Ghibli collection. I picked up the... this thing is heavy. I could kill somebody with this. The Studio Ghibli... Or not Studio Ghibli. God. The Nausicaa Valley of the Wind... Of the Valley of the Wind... box set. I'm out of practice with these videos. I don't know. I'm getting used to just doing the podcast now and having Steven and Chance to bounce off of to cover up the fact that I just can't talk on recordings. The movie of Nausicaa is only like the first 2 books of this, and then he continued the storyline on, so I'm really excited to see where the storyline goes. This will be something that like I can read to Lily, because she's in kindergarten and reading skills, you know, they're coming, but not quite there yet. So something I can read to her, and we can have a fun time. It comes with a little poster, double-sided poster as well. You got Nausicaa there and there on the back. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that poster. Probably just put it in the cover of one of the books and keep it in the box. But last but certainly not least, the girlfriend and I were talking about it, and we both agreed that we need to have this on vinyl so we can listen to it on our on my headphones. And that is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles, mono version. Get the mono version, because I tell you what, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds sounds like absolute shit on the stereo version. It's the same thing kind of with the Beach Boys. They focus so much on the monos that like the Beatles would just pour over the mono mixes, and then when it came time to do the stereo mixes, like there's actual parts of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds that's on the mono version that's completely left off the stereo version. They just didn't even give a shit about the stereo version. It was all about the monos. So especially with Sgt. Pepper's, you got to get the mono version. And I wish my Revolver was the mono version, but it's actually the stereo version. But I don't think Revolver suffers as much from being stereoized as Sgt. Pepper's did. But anyway, Jesus Christ, I got through it. I didn't think I would. Other than that, I'm still working on Pokemon X. Going back, I'm actually enjoying it this time. So it's not like the Dark Souls enjoyment, though. I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I still have some issues with the series. I'm about 80 hours into Dragon Quest VII, and I'm rounding the base on the end. So when I get done with this, I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to put about, I don't know how many more hours into Dragon Quest VII. Hopefully I'm going to get it done this weekend, because the girlfriend's working all weekend, and Lily she has cousins in town, so she's spending the weekend with the cousins that are in town. So I got the weekend to myself. So the cat is signaling that it's time for the video to be over. But I got the weekend to myself, basically, so just going to be playing Dragon Quest VII, try and get that done. But anyway, hopefully you made it through all my stuttering. The podcast, we are discussing what to do. We recorded an episode of the podcast, and then Steven went to send it to me to edit and all that jazz, and we found out that half of it didn't get recorded. It always happens with us. I don't know what the deal is. So we're going to do that sometime this weekend, I think. The other thing is, Alex and I did a mini-sode for Panzer Dragoon Saga. We both played the game and talked about it. And of course, Steven made the joke that he thought it was going to be a mini-sode, but actually it was like an hour-and-a-half episode of the podcast. So if you want to check that out, it's up on the AGP. Jesus, Ellie. I'll be out in a minute. Okay? It's probably because she can see the silver in the bottom of her food bowl. I don't know why cats are like that, but as soon as she sees the silver, I mean, all the food could be at the sides, but if she sees the silver in the bottom of the bowl, it's a travesty. But yeah, that episode of the podcast is up, so you can check that out. But anyway, I've been rambling on too long. I got some ideas for some other videos. Maybe I'll shoot another one tomorrow. Who knows? All right. That is it for me. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.